this is Bob Samuels, and I'm with Pam Didner. Pam, how are you today?
I'm doing very well. It's wonderful to be on your podcast, Bob.
Thank you. It's wonderful to have you. I'd like for you, if you can start by giving our audience a little bit of your background around your consulting and authoring and so forth.
Yeah. Let's just do a quick 30-second intro. Hi, everyone. My name is Pam Didner, and I'm a B2B marketer through and through. And I work in a big corporation and called Intel for about 20 years. And about 6 years ago, and I left Intel and decided to stand on my own feet. And I wrote two books. One is about global content marketing, how to scale content across the region. The other one, which I published last week, I mean, not last week, what am I saying, last year, and effective sales enablement, how to actually enable sales as a marketer. And recently, I just published a short ebook. It's really about artificial intelligence, the modern AI marketer. And you can find my three books on Amazon.com. So here I
Wonderful.
am.
Well,
Yeah.
your background is a great match to a lot of my topics, so I'm happy to speak with you. So have you had a chance to work with smaller companies too? I'm curious what you see as the differences.
That's a good question. Majority of my clients are enterprise clients just because my background has always been on the enterprise and the corporate side. But recently I have engaged with a couple of small businesses. They're actually not that small. The company size is about 90 or to about 150, but they have the revenue still about 10 million. So I wouldn't say that they are small, but it's wonderful to actually work with a growing company and that they really want to make that transition, if you will, from a smaller company to more kind of like enterprise type of thinking. So that's why I got hired to work with them. So.
Yeah, and so what do you see as the similarities or differences between the different sizes?
I personally think that the biggest difference is the processes. And in the big companies, given that they are more established, they tend to have more headcounts, and the job and responsibility tend to be a little bit more defined. And a smaller company, due to the headcount and the budget situation or constraint, if you will, one person needs to wear multiple hats. They tend to be a whole lot more nimble and flexible. If they need to make any changes on the spot, it's very easy to do with smaller company. With a bigger company, they have a process that they need to go through, and that just take a little bit longer time, if you will, to make that change. Like in the current economy, economic situation, right? Everybody is freaking out. Well, not in a bad way, but obviously dealing with uncertainty. And with that being said, the smaller company, they can modify their positioning, they can change their pricing very quickly, and the bigger company tend to take a little bit longer to do that. In addition, obviously enterprise tend to have a much bigger budget to deal with, and a smaller company with a smaller budget, they have to be incredibly creative and efficient.
Yeah, very well said. I like that. So I think you mentioned something about alignment with sales or that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I really enjoy talking about, and I think one of the biggest, um, I would say, mission, if you will, on the marketing side, tend to be overlooked, is alignment with the sales team and
Hmm.
working with the sales team closely. And many marketers, they focus on top of the funnel and also brand awareness building, and they focus more on the NQL and top of funnel type of outbound outreach. And I think there's another place for marketing organization, which is to work closely with sales. There's a lot of existing marketing elements can be leveraged as a part of a sales negotiating tools. And for example, marketers, they do email campaigns. We do a lot of email marketing campaigns and outreach. Guess what? Salespeople are doing that too. They run their own mini campaigns, um, writing emails and send out the email campaigns using a CRM or Salesforce tools. They are doing email campaigns, and for the us, the marketers, we actually do quite a bit of, say, Facebook pay ad buys. Sometimes you can use that and find looking like audience or even prospects that they are deeper into the funnel, actually look into that information and also correlate with if some of the prospect have come to our website multiple times and trying to identify the try to identify the potential intent and the guess estimate that their propensity to buy, and maybe we can turn that MQL to SQL very quickly and to actually help sales team. Does that make sense?
It does
So
make
it's
sense.
using some of the social listening and also extend the market research to actually help the sales team to identify the prospects. Stop. You probably have to edit this
I love
out.
the, I think it's super important
Yeah,
for
to
sales and
identify the
marketing to be aligned.
prospects for the sales team. Yeah.
I mean, one of the reasons why I like the whole ABM concept is that it brings sales and marketing together for a unified effort.
Yes, that's actually a very, very good way to actually align sales and marketing is have one specific initiative. And one of the option is account-based marketing, given that the company is always, especially on the sales side, they always talk about accounts, right? On the marketing side, we talk about personas, we talk about customers, we talk about segmentation of a customers. But when we work with sales team, we have to change our mindset a little bit and we need to think from their perspective. They talk about accounts, they talk about companies, and that's how we need to think in terms of working with them.
Yep, good point. And well, the personas is still important for both, I would think.
Yes, I do believe that, Bob. You brought a very good point. I'm not saying that persona is not important, and especially when we create our messagings and positioning, and
It's more
it's
of a terminology, I guess.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, and if you think about persona, it's probably broader in terms of we're talking about a specific segment of the customers, but account we are talking about a specific a company or a set of industries.
Yeah,
And but within the account, we're still selling to people, and within the people, they are definitely a targeted persona that we go after. So yes, you are totally right.
very good. So you also mentioned that you've dabbled in content marketing before.
Yes, and that's actually how I got started. If you think about it, on the B2B side of things, many of our products, especially the product that we sell to companies, tend to be a whole lot more complicated, right? Started with the manufacturing companies like Caterpillars, tractor. It's a very complicated machine or machinery that Caterpillar tried to sell to their, say, their customer, like construction companies or whatnot. So they need to explain in terms of what that product will do or the complex of the machinery will do for them, right? So what is the best way to explain that is you have to create content so people can actually read it or you can explain to your potential prospects. So I think content marketing is actually really more or less kind of like a foundation of the B2B marketing, right? You need content to actually, it's kind of on the sales side, it's you can say it's a sales collateral, but on the marketing side, it's really the content that you have to share with your prospect so they can understand your products better.
Yeah. So have you gotten into personalizing the content
You know,
for
that's
different
actually
personas, for instance?
Bob, you brought a very good question, and there is a topic which is I'm very passionate about, and I talk about it as one of the keynote topics for B2B MX is artificial intelligence. And I think moving forward, now even with Marketo Eloqua, which is a different marketing automation tool at the enterprise level, and you can segment your customer, and then you can personalize and customize your content based on the segmentation that you conducted in the marketing automation tool. But if you want to further personalize it down to, say, Bob's level, down to Pam's level, down to Susie's level. We don't. we don't actually have any tool to actually scale that just yet, unless we use machine learning and also have the AI capability that built into it. Does that make sense? So I
No, it doesn't. So could you clear? I mean, yeah, I think it does, but could you clarify the difference between AI and machine or artificial intelligence and machine learning?
That's actually a great point. Machine learning is very much a subset of artificial intelligence. And if you look at Wikipedia, the artificial intelligence is basically has a very, very concise and a succinct definition. It's basically machines exhibited intelligence. They can do something or emulate, certain level of a human behavior. And but that doesn't mean that, hey, we are creating like a marketer robot or salesperson robot at this time. We don't have that. We don't have like like Star Trek's data, like a being that actually can take over the marketing or sales functions.
Mhm.
What we do have is we can build the some sort of intelligence into the software that we are using. Like Salesforce has Einstein, which is some sort of machine learning algorithm that built into it. And there's a lot of tools that we use actually have a certain kind of AI features that built into it. And the things that you probably everybody most familiar with is probably if you use any kind of social media platform. And a lot of time, some of the social media platform, if you enter your blog post, it will automatically come up with some sort of copy that you should that for you to edit. That's kind of artificial intelligence built into it. The machine is intelligent enough to look at your blog post and come up with something for you to edit. Does that make sense? So in order for the machine to do that, there's certain kind of algorithms that needs to build into it. And one of the subcategory of it is called machine learning. Machine learning is basically, in a very general term, if you will, obviously it's a lot more complicated to explain it, is there's computer scientists that they feel that they can write a general rules and algorithm to teach the machine to learn. And how do you teach the machine to learn? It's just kind of like us, how we learn. How do humans learn? Like, for example, if we learn, we'll look at a subject, right? If we look at the different kind of subject over a period of time, we see one banana, and then we see multiple different bananas, and then over a period of time, we'll recognize that object is banana. Same thing for machine learning, right? If you actually want the machine to recognize something, you feed them huge amount of data, a banana from a different angle, if you will, that over a period of time, they can recognize, oh, yeah, that's a banana. So that's basically the essence of machine learning.
Okay.
So you feed the machine huge amount of data, and over a period of time, they learn how to recognize, say, the sentiment of a sentences or the face of a human, and to that extent.
And so by definition, as the machine goes, it's learning.
Yes, exactly. And so I feel that in the future, if nowadays we have Alexa, and we also have like Google Home that can answer our questions and understand our responses. What if they can read the email on our behalf? What if they can read the email and understand the sentiment and also predict, what is the possibility or the intent of the prospect? And then, or what if they can read it and try to predict what's the propensity to buy? And a lot of that can be done through artificial intelligence.
Got it. Thank you. That's very
You're
helpful.
welcome.
So you've got personas. So you've got content marketing. You've got coordination with sales.
Yeah.
Um, how do you? I mean, there's no artificial intelligence or machine learning that will tell you what message to write. You have to write it yourself. There's no
You know,
magic.
you know, Bob, let me yes and no, actually. So the Washington Post, I don't know if you're aware of it. They created the homegrown kind of like AI reporter,
Okay.
And basically, the editor can actually select key phrases. Okay, they want to share. For example, if there is election and you know there is a predictive outcome, right? So either party A won or a party B won, or candidate A won or candidate B won.
Mhm.
So with those outcomes, you kind of know what are some of the keywords you want to use, what are some of demographics that will feed into that specific article, and you probably have data to indicate it, number of the votes that each candidate receive. So you know there's a specific words that will be used to write that article. I'm just making an assumption, right? I mean, in general, there's especially on the B2B side of things, even you write a white paper, you know what your outcome will be. You know what your call to action is. You also know what kind of type of products that you are going to promote, which is your company's product. You also know the number of what type of keywords you want to describe to your product. Let's assume you have all that information, okay? And then you hooked your model, your content creation model, to trusted sources. So they will go out and crawl the trusted sources, just like the Google search are crawling out to find the content that you need. So if you have key phrases, you have the trusted sources, you know what the outcome is, there's a possibility you can actually have a machine create an article on your behalf.
Mhm.
Bob, do you know
Interesting.
what I'm trying to say?
I
So
do.
that's
That's
actually,
fascinating.
yeah, that's what the Washington Post did. For 2016 election, they created heliograph, and they identified the keywords they will need, the phrases, and also the possible outcomes. So that the machine write say 2 or 3 articles to talk about possible outcomes, and when the election results announced, they can publish the article right away, depending on the outcome.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty amazing.
I like that. So I forgot the name of the company, but there's software out there that you can tell it what kind of tone you like, or what your how your company likes to some of the words and phrases your company likes. So that can influence.
Yeah, what's the name of the company?
Uh,
I probably
so
I cannot remember. I apologize.
yeah,
Uh,
Tony Yang. I'll have to look it up.
there is one company and it's called Conversica. And
Conversica.
yeah, exactly. They are AI-based sales
Yeah.
system platforms. Basically, they can read the prospect's email and then create and draft the email to respond to the
Yes.
prospect.
Yeah.
So in a way, they will
Yeah.
understand the prospect's sentiment, when they write that email. So
Yeah, that's very good. And then does it learn as it goes?
yes, it is. It learns as it goes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony Yang is a really nice marketer. I'm going to speak with him tomorrow. Actually, he's at a company
Very
called
good.
Cordoba that
Oh,
gets into the kind
the
of
AI, the AI
intent.
part of things. Oh,
Yeah,
intent. I love that. I think that's another hot topics, and I think that has also highly correlated with propensity to buy. I think the holy grail moving forward on the B2B side of things, especially for the salespeople, is to further understand or gather the insights of not just intent, and also what is the probability or a propensity for the prospect to buy. And then
yeah,
you can gear up for the customized content to tailor to their needs.
yeah. So have you gotten involved much with data, intent data, install base information, that sort of thing, to try to figure out again if what intent is out there, what's the propensity to buy, what are the other what if is it a good environment for the
Yeah.
product?
Bob, personally, I have not actively engaged on any specific project like that. and I'm just being full transparency here.
Yeah.
But I understand the concept of it in terms of you have to understand the technographics, you have to understand the firmographics of a prospect or their the specific account, and
Yeah.
also understand the fitness, FIT,
Yes.
of that specific account, and how does that fit into the overall ideal customer profile,
Yeah.
ICP. I understand the concept of it, but so far, none of my clients has asked me to actually do any of that, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Right.
But
Well,
I would love to find out more.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing perfect, but I think it increases the probability a bit.
I
Uh,
do. So the intent type of
Yeah.
marketing outreach I had done in the past is more manual and a little old fashioned. So when we did back when I was in a corporate world, when we did any kind of email campaigns, there were a period of time I want to actually find potential leads for my sales team, and I want to see who are actually more kind of like on the bottom of the purchase funnel. So I intentionally selected the content, for example, pricing guide, a how-to guide of our products, and incorporate that into an email campaigns. And because it's talking about pricing, it's talking about how to. If somebody click on that, it kind of provides me a clue, which is give me a sense that maybe his intent is actually higher compared with the others that click on the content like, oh, you know what, thought leadership and the top of the funnel content. Does that make sense?
It
So
does. So
what
it's
I did, it's a
self-selecting content.
self-selection. Yes, exactly. So it's basically more old-fashioned, a
Yeah.
little bit more manual. It's just basically
Mhm.
intentionally select the content more fit into the bottom of the funnel, and it's more about pricing. It's about how to, and if
Yeah.
people express interest on that, and that gives me an kind of like a signal that hey, this person might be ready to have a conversation with our sales team.
If they're looking for the content on the 101 or you know networking for dummies or something like that,
Yes, exactly.
and they're probably early on in the process.
Right. So that was some sort of like intense specific campaigns I have ever encountered or implemented. But in terms of like using the existing knowledge and I'm sorry, using existing technology to determine the intent, so far I have not done that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's some interesting stuff out there. Nothing's perfect,
Definitely,
but
definitely.
there's some good
Yeah.
things. So you've seen a lot over the years. Um, what is your, I know you didn't want me to hold you to it, but I will anyway. At least I'll ask you. I'm not gonna hold you to it. But what's your prediction of what are we gonna be talking about in a year from now, in 5 years from now, at these at the B2B MX event? What will we be talking about? I mean, AI and machine learning are big topics now. Have we
Definitely one.
plateaued, or are
Yeah.
they going to get bigger?
I definitely think they will, to be honest with you. And I think the biggest trend, and we already see on the consumer side of things, right? And the millennial made it very clear as to all of us that they like to have a message that tailors specifically for them, but at the same time not to be creepy. And I see on the B2B front, we'll see more and more personalization and customization. And in order to do that well, we need data, right? We need to understand our data better. That means data-driven type of marketing is definitely going to continue and will become even more important. And another things that to actually will assist us humans is actually artificial intelligence, because a lot of time there's only so much of data that we can comprehend, and the and at some point we are going to collapse. We cannot comprehend or compute that huge amount of data. And then this is where the advanced analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning will come into play, right? They will identify the patterns that we can't see, and they can say, hopefully, further personalize and customize the content on our behalf. So if you ask me now in terms of what's ahead in next 5 years, I see the trend that will continue is a personalization and customization, and the data-driven type of marketing, along with artificial intelligence, will hopefully help us to get there.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate your time. Is there any other words of wisdom before I let you go?
No, this is pretty much it. And for all the listeners out there, and if you are interested and in terms of content marketing, account-based marketing, sales enablement, and would like to have a chat, reach out to me anytime. Brainstorming is free.
Very good. So
So
I will include some links to your book and videos and so forth. So happy to promote those.
I really appreciate that. And the link back to my website, if that's possible. Okay.
Absolutely. Bam, it's a
Excellent.
pleasure.
Same here. Same here. It's wonderful talking to you. And thank you so much for reaching out. If there's anything I can provide assistance, you let me know.
Absolutely. Take care.
You too.